We all know the tragic story of Bruce Wayne and his rise to becoming the hero and protector of Gotham City. But is there more behind the mask? The character of Batman was created over 75 years ago and has developed a lot over time. As we look back over this time period, we can see information that helps us better understand the Batman and why he does what he does. Today, I will explain who the Batman is and give a basic overview of his character's history. We will start this journey with a simple question. Who is Batman? To start off, his real name is Bruce Wayne. And when he was a kid, his parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne, were killed in front of him. After this, young Bruce decided to devote his life to finding justice for his parents and protecting the people of Gotham. To do this, he embarked on a long journey. He began studying in the fields of criminology, forensics, and criminal psychology. When he was 14 years old, he set out to find the skills he would need to obtain justice. He received training from multiple instructors. He learned the art of stealth and ninjutsu from a Japanese ninja known as Kirigi. He received lessons in hand-to-hand from Ted Grant, a world champion boxer, and David Kane, a world premier assassin. He also received training in archery from Oliver Queen, the vigilante known as Green Arrow. When Bruce returned to Gotham, he quickly realized that in order to seek the justice he was looking for, he would need to work outside the law, because the city officials were corrupt. He became a vigilante, stopping criminals in the night on his own. Despite all of the skills he had obtained, he still felt like he was missing something. He discovered what this was one night when a bat came flying through the window and reminded him of his childhood fear of bats. He then got the idea to design a costume that resembles a bat so he could strike fear in the criminals. He then built a costume, equipping it with the latest experimental tech, and then went out and fought the crime as Batman. This is the most canon storyline of Batman, but it did not become this way overnight. Instead, it took years and years to develop. The development of Batman can be divided into three categories. The Golden Age, the Silver Age, and the Modern Age. The Golden Age is the first age and sets up the foundation of Batman's character. The first comic Batman appeared in was Detective Comic number 27 in 1939. In this comic, he was already a functioning crime fighter, and there was little to no information about his origins and beginnings. However, in Detective Comic number 33, we were given some brief information about his origins, which were expanded upon in Detective Comic number 47. That's right there is Detective Comic number 27, which is the first one that he was in. The Detective Comic number 33 and Detective Comic number 47, which set up his origins, stated that he was the son of Thomas and Martha Wayne, and also stated that when he was 8, his parents were killed on the way home from a movie theater. Bruce then swears to devote his life to fighting crime. During this age, Batman is engaged to Julie Madison and adopts Dick Grayson, an orphan circus acrobat who would later become his sidekick Robin. Also during this age, an Englishman by the name of Alfred Pennyworth comes to Wayne Manor and figures out the dynamic duo's secret. After figuring out the secret, he decides to join them as their butler. The next era is the Silver Age, which makes some changes to Batman's character, which even made their way to what is known as the Modern Age. One of the most important things brought about by the Silver Age was the idea of a multiverse, which was basically a set of alternate universes which existed in the DC universe. This allowed DC to make the Batman from the Golden Age into a character from a parallel universe known as Earth 2. This allowed them to continue writing stories about the Golden Age Batman, but also make their own new stories for the Silver Age Batman. For instance, this Earth 2 Batman from the Golden Age marries a reformed Catwoman, an ex-jewel thief whose real name is Selina Kyle. Bruce and Selina then have a daughter named Helena Wayne, and Helena eventually goes on to become the Huntress and protect Gotham City in place of her father. In this Silver Age, we see Batman start to team up with characters such as Superman in a series called World's Finest Comics. We also see, however, that in this age, Dick Grayson, who is his sidekick Robin, goes off to college, which causes Batman to resort back to his solo career in keeping Gotham safe. The last age is the modern age, which is the age we know today. This age basically serves as a reboot. During this age, the Earth 2 Batman, which was the Golden Age Batman, is erased from history. The writers then start over using specific characteristics from the past ages to rewrite the character Batman. This age also extended the Batman family. They brought back Dick Grayson, which was the first Robin, and they also introduced a new character. They also introduced Jason Todd. Jason Todd was mentioned in the previous era, but they made a new storyline for him in this era. In this age, he served as Batman's sidekick as the second Robin, but later was beaten to death by a crowbar by the villain Joker. Later on in the timeline, Jason Todd was resurrected and became another one of Batman's villains, known as the Red Hood. Tim Drake was also introduced during this age and was known as the third Robin, who was brought on 10 years after Todd's death. Another character that was brought back from the Golden Age was Barbara Gordon, and she was brought back as Batgirl, who later became a character known as Oracle. We see a change in Batman's love life as he... we see a change in Batman's love life in this modern age also. Like in the Silver Age, he has feelings for Selina Kyle, but he doesn't act on them because he fears that it will interfere with his work as Batman. In this age, he also develops a relationship with Talia al Ghul, daughter of Ra's al Ghul, which is another one of his main villains. Together, Talia and Bruce have a son named Damian Wayne, which eventually becomes the fifth Robin. This relationship, however, appears to be one-sided because Talia is constantly forcing Bruce to spend time with her. Another important change which was brought about during this age was Alfred's relationship with Batman. In the modern age, the character Philip Wayne, who served as Bruce's guardians after his parents' death in the Golden Age, was removed. Instead, they replaced this character with Alfred, who took on the role of Bruce's guardian and raised Bruce. This made Bruce and Alfred's relationship even stronger. During this age, we also see the death and resurrection of Batman. He is supposedly killed while trying to defeat Darkseid by an Omega Sanction. It is later revealed that the Omega Sanction merely sends its victims conscious to a distant past. During the time of his so-called death, Dick Grayson filled the role of Batman with Damian Wayne as Robin. We then see Bruce's return as he fights his way through time back to the present Gotham, Once he returns, he creates Batman Incorporated, franchising the Batman identity around the world. From these changes we made throughout the years, we also see multiple different versions of Batman arising. There are close to 200 different versions of Batman known today. One of the most popular of these versions, and that people are most familiar with, is the Batman from the Dark Knight trilogy. This Batman is an adaptation of the Earth 1 Batman done by Christopher Nolan. In this version, Batman is trained by Ra's al Ghul. He also doesn't appear to be as smart as the Earth 1 Batman, given that he did not seek any education, but merely relied on his physical skills. We also see this adaptation take a more realistic look at Batman, explaining the basic science behind his gadgets and taking away some of the science fiction elements of his villains. Another version of Batman is featured in Justice League's The Flashpoint Paradox. In this version, Bruce Wayne is killed in the alley instead of his parents. This causes his father, Thomas Wayne, to become Batman and his mother, Martha Wayne, to become the Joker. Thomas Wayne's version of the Batman is far more violent in that he uses guns to kill his victims rather than capturing him. Another notable version of Batman is featured in the Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. This version, however, does not even go by the name of Batman, but instead takes on the name of Owlman. This version is a villain and is part of a group known as the Crime Syndicate. These are only some of the many different versions of Batman that there have been created. Throughout the years, we have seen Batman's character go through many changes. These changes molded and shaped him into the Batman that we know and love today. Thank you.